Good morning. Thanks for your patience. We're a couple minutes behind. They call it Floyd time, apparently. It's a festival thing. So I apologize. I hope it's not too distracting, but there are some other workshops that are going to be happening fairly nearby, and this seemed like the best spot. So just to stay in my little hub. So with that said, welcome to my pop-up shop, The Kind Crystals. Go ahead and find yourself into a comfortable seat. And as you arrive, give yourself some full breaths, noticing where you feel the breath. Noticing the temperature of the breath as it comes into your body and out. Recognizing what your dedicated practice looks like and how keeping a commitment or dedication can really guide us to go with the flow. We're showing up no matter what. As we build the road builds us. A.T. Ariarante. As we build the road builds us. On your next inhale, draw your hands together in heart center. Exhale, soften your shoulders. Inhale for one long Om. Pause in the stillness. Lower your hands to your knees, and as you're ready, inhale to draw your heart forwards. And exhale to guide the heart back. Move in full circles, breathing deeply, maybe closing your eyes. That's a great solution if the video locks up. Notice your internal experience. So yoga is not just these physical exercises that we often think of here in the West. Yoga can be translated to union, to yoke. Yoga can be anything that brings you into a sense of unity. Unity with your soul, unity with the world around you, unity with creation. Switch directions of your circles, breathing, uniting your movement with your breath. Maybe you really start to flex the spine, inhaling, lifting your chin, opening your throat, exhaling, tucking your chin, rounding your spine back. Notice where else you might be experiencing sensation, maybe in your arms and hands as you grip your knees. Come to stillness. Bring your hands back behind you. Draw your inner elbows towards each other. Shoulder blades hug the spine and slide down. Push the ground away as you arc your spine, lifting your heart. Maybe you drop your head back. If that doesn't feel good on your neck, inhale to draw your chin back towards your chest. You can stay here or catch balance on your hips, bringing your toes to the earth in front of you. Push the ground away to lengthen your spine. Maybe you float your toes off of the mat. Maybe you bring your shins towards parallel. Maybe you reach for your feet. Maybe you reach your arms up overhead. Maybe you straighten one or both legs. Breathe wherever you go, knowing that you can always modify and do a combination of the cues I've given. If you catch yourself rounding your spine, maybe back out of whatever Navasana boat pose variation you took. and re-engage your core, re-lengthen your spine. Lengthen the back of your neck. Another breath here. As you exhale, cross the non-dominant leg in front. Inhale, reach your arms out and up. Let this be an experience in itself. Stretch your fingers wide. Exhale, drop your left hand. Right arm reaches up and over, lateral spinal stretch. Keep your hips anchored to the earth, especially the right hip might want to be lifting up. Option to stay as you are, or to round your spine, dropping your heart towards the earth. Touch the right fingertips to the ground in front of the right knee. And on your next inhale, arc open, lifting the right arm up and overhead, stretching out the pectoral muscles, the heart muscles. On an inhale, come back through center. Exhale, sit tall in the middle. Inhale, reach both arms out and up. Spread your fingers wide. Exhale, float your right hand down. Left arm reaches up and over. Lateral spinal stretch. You can always look towards the ground if your neck needs a little support. Notice your hips connected to the earth. If you'd like, inhale, reach your left fingertips to the earth in front of your left knee. On your next inhale, arc open. Breathe deeply, come back to center, reach both arms up. Exhale, hinge forward, passing through a little forward fold just for a breath. And then rock yourself onto hands and knees, tabletop. As you arrive in tabletop, you might flex your toes, giving your feet a little stretch, and then pass through cow and cat. Inhaling to drop the belly, pull the heart forwards. Exhale, push the ground away, rounding your spine. Please move in any way that feels good with you with your breath here. If your knees are sensitive or if there's a big rock under them, you might want to put a blanket under your knees. Maybe you close your eyes here or just soften and unfocus your gaze and notice where all you can feel sensation in your body. With intentional awareness, maybe we notice the stretch through our deep abdominal muscles as we inhale. Maybe we notice the shoulder blades gliding apart as we exhale. On your next inhale, maybe you open your mouth wide, stretching the skin of your face. Maybe you stick your tongue out. Let your head hang heavy on your next exhale. Pause. Rock forwards and backwards with this cat arch in your back. Notice the weight in your hands. Can you grip the mat with your fingertips? Tuck your toes, inhale, and on an exhale, send your hips high. You can keep the knees bent, really for life, in downward facing dog. There's never any pressure to straighten the legs. You don't want to strain the low back by forcing the legs straight. Take any movement that feels good on this Friday morning. If you've been practicing all week, maybe you notice how this feels compared to how it felt Monday. And then we don't judge what we observe, whether we perceive it to be good or bad, it just is. On an inhale, look forward, bend the knees generously. Exhale, hop or walk yourself to the top of the mat. Fold forward, Uttanasana. On an inhale, rise all the way up, reach. Exhale your hands to your heart. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hinge forward. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Continuing, inhale. Exhale. Hands touch down, right foot steps way back in space. On an inhale, lengthen your spine. On an exhale, drop your right knee. Toes can stay tucked or untucked. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, option to float your arms around behind your back, clasping hands. Right thumb on top. There we go. Anchor the knuckles down. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale here. Exhale, release your fingertips to the earth, walk them forward. Step yourself back into plank pose. You can always lower your knees in plank. Wherever you are, stay for another breath. Inhale, you are strong. Exhale, lower your knees, bend your elbows, lower your torso all the way to the earth. Untuck your toes. Inhale, lift your heart. Exhale, lower down, tuck your toes. Inhale here. Exhale, push up through plank or crawl through tabletop. We'll find ourselves into downward facing dog. 3 to 5 breaths here. Maybe child's pose is what serves you better right now. Keep in mind, this is your personal practice. It does not have to look any particular way. How does it feel? The time on the mat can feel challenging, but we're also seeking expansion. Sometimes we find that in child's pose more than we do in a complicated posture. One more breath. On an inhale, look forward, engage your core. Exhale, step the right foot to the top of the mat by any means necessary. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, lower your left knee. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, option to take that heart opening posture, yoga mudra behind your back, left thumb on top. As you breathe, sink your knuckles, lift your heart. Inhaling deeply. Exhale, release the hands, walk the fingertips forward. Inhale, look to the top of the mat. Exhale, step into your right leg, left leg high, standing splits. Most of us probably need to drop our left hip. There's a tendency to hike it up. Makes our brain think our leg's going higher. Drop the left hip, hips neutral. One more, actually a couple more breaths. Let's see if we can catch some balance. Maybe you lift one or both hands off of the earth. Now one more breath to play. And as you exhale, set your left foot down to meet the right. On an inhale, rise all the way up. Long spine's the safest way on the spine. Exhale, hands to your heart. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold. Fingertips touch down. Left foot steps way back in space. This time, stay high. You can always lower your knee if you want. Otherwise, let's inhale. Reaching up. Anjaneyasana. Imagine squeezing your legs together without moving your feet. Notice how that might help shift your outer left hip forward, outer right hip back. Breathe deeply. Maybe you spread your fingers really wide and give them a wiggle, inviting sensation into the body. Maybe you open and close your jaw. Inhale, reach. Exhale, hands back to the earth. Step yourself back into plank pose. You can always go right into child's pose or downward facing dog. I'll cue through a nice slow chaturanga dandasana. Keep breathing in plank pose. Let's check that our elbows are pointing more back towards our thighs. That way our arms can hug our ribs. Inhale, come forward on your tippy toes. Exhale, lower halfway, hover here. The arms are hugging into the ribs. We're hovering, float, breathe. Untuck your toes. On an inhale, lift your heart, upward facing dog. On an exhale, find downward facing dog or child's pose. 3 to 5 breaths. If your knees are straight, see what it feels like to put a little bend in the knees and push the ground away. Maybe you can swing your hips a little higher up to the sky. Let your shoulders slide up towards your ears and let your head and neck relax. On an inhale, look forwards. Exhale, step or swing that left foot to the top of the mat. On an inhale, rise up, Anjaneyasana, crescent lunge. Engaging the muscles of the legs, imagine shifting your outer right hip forward, outer left hip back. Seeking more neutrality in the hips, but also going easy on ourselves. Our weekly reminder that yoga like this was initially taught to young boys, so their bodies were a little bit different than ours, most likely. So taking all of the cues into awareness, but not attaching too much. Another big breath. Inhale, reach higher. Exhale, hands to the earth. Inhale, look forward, preparing for standing splits. Exhale, step into your left leg, right heel to the sky. Again, notice if your right hip is lifting up and your right leg's going really high. Let's go ahead and drop the right hip so it stays neutral with the left. Press back through your right foot. Both legs are just as active as if you were standing in mountain pose. Maybe you can relax your neck a little wherever you are. Maybe you float your hands off of the earth or play with it for the next breath or two. Inhale. Exhale, set your right foot down to meet the left. Hang heavy. On an inhale, rise all the way up, reaching out and up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Pause for a moment here. You can keep your hands pressing together in heart center or release them to your sides. Taking a moment to pause in Tadasana, mountain pose. Feel the ground under your feet. Feel your feet. As we build the road builds us. What road of life are our feet traveling? Using the beginning of the month, checking in, we're on the right trajectory. Inhale, reach out and up. Exhale, fold forward, hands touch down, right foot steps back and out, setting up for warrior two. Inhale, cartwheel your arms up, setting up, settling in Virabhadrasana two. Apologies if our internet's getting inconsistent. We're in warrior two with the left knee bent, gazing over the left fingertips, stretching through the wingspan. Anchor into the pinky side edge of your right foot. As you're ready, on an inhale, flip your left palm to the sky, reverse warrior. Stay in reverse warrior, another breath. As you're ready, on an exhale, cartwheel your hands down, finding that high runner's lunge. Left knee in front, inhale. Exhale, step yourself back into plank pose. Again, you have options to go into child's pose or downward dog from here, or join me in Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale and plank. And exhale, push the ground away. Inhale forward on your tippy toes. Exhale, lower halfway, hover the body. This is the work. Untuck your toes. Inhale, lift your heart, upward facing dog. Exhale, find downward facing dog or child's pose. Breathe deeply. Stay with your breath. You might shake and nod your head, open and close your jaw. On an inhale, look forward between your hands. Exhale, step or swing the right foot to the top of the mat. Pivot the left heel down. On an inhale, rise up, Virabhadrasana 2, warrior 2 on the other side. Right knee is in front now. Breathe here. Spread your fingers wide, maybe give them a wiggle. On an inhale, flip your right palm to the sky, reverse warrior. Anchor into the pinky side edge of your left foot. Another breath like this. As you exhale, cartwheel your hands down, pause in high runner's lunge. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, step the left foot to meet the right, forward fold. On an inhale, rise all the way up, arms out and up. On an exhale, right back down, all the way down to forward fold. Plant your hands and step back into tabletop. In tabletop, let's pass through cow and cat another time or two. Keep breathing. From tabletop, step your right foot to the top of the mat. So we're back in our low lunge. Straighten your right leg, sending your right hips or your hips back in space. For now, let's push the right foot to the earth. Notice the stretch over the top of your right ankle. Maybe you track your right hip back in space a little. Ardha Hanumanasana. Now let's peel the right toes off of the earth, pointing them to the sky. Breathe. This half split, remember it's like we're preparing to take a huge leap. Draw your heart forward, lengthening your spine. Inhale. Exhale here. Inhale, walk your hands forward, bend your right knee, tuck your left toes. And as you're breathing, straighten your right leg, lifting up into a pyramid posture. We'll just pass through for a few breaths. I apologize, the video, it said my signal was excellent at 7 o'clock this morning, so I apologize, but we'll just keep breathing. Well, Frank Sinatra says, that's life. Another breath. And bend into your right knee, lower your left knee, step yourself right back into tabletop. Cow and cat, a time or two. Return to neutral tabletop. Step or swing your left foot to the top of the mat, whatever it takes to get there. And then send your hips back in space as you straighten your left leg. Keep your left toes on the earth. Exploring this half splits posture. Feel the stretch on the top of your left ankle. Imagine dragging your left hip back in space. Breathe here. On an inhale, bend your left knee. Walk your hands forward, straighten your left leg, passing through pyramid pose on the other side. Breathe deeply. I think we need to balance something out. Lower your right knee, bend your left knee, send your hips back into half splits again, left toes to the sky. Did we do that? Sorry, I let myself get distracted with the internet signal. And notice if you're feeling anything in your mind or body. Like I noticed I was distracted, and then I instantly felt that I was clenching my jaw. Just noticing these things helps us release our attachments to them. All right, now bend your left knee. Lift your right knee off the earth. Let's just pass through pyramid pose. One more breath. Imagine dragging that left hip back, right hip forward. Inhale. Exhale, step yourself all the way up into forward fold. On an inhale, rise all the way up, reaching out and up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Now lower onto your seat. So sitting down, and then recline all the way onto your back. When you arrive on your back, hug your knees in towards your chest. Apanasana. See if you can soften your head, neck, shoulders here, allowing yourself to really melt onto the earth. Maybe you rock side to side. Preparing for a spinal twist now. You might open your arms out wide. Maybe you bend your elbows like a cactus. Inhale deeply and exhale, drop your legs off to the left side. You can stay exactly as you are, or maybe you imagine tracking your top hip, your right hip down away from your heart, creating more space in your torso. Where can you soften? As you inhale, slowly return yourself to neutral. As you exhale, drop your legs off to the right side. Now you can stay just as you are, or you can track that top left hip away from you, creating space in your torso, space for the breath. Enjoy another few breaths here as we build the road builds us. Moving gently, return yourself to neutral. Send your arms and legs out long. Find your way into Shavasana, corpse pose. Trust that this time is valuable. This is time well spent. You might notice if there's an urge to go run off and do the dishes or tend to some list or another. Give yourself this next moment of stillness. Allowing the benefits of this practice to assimilate. Stay with your breath. Deepen your breath. Slowly start to wake your body up, taking a full body stretch. We'll make our way back to an easy seated posture. We got a new toy, so we'll play with chanting Om. Inhaling and exhaling, sit tall. Bring your hands together in front of heart space. Inhale for one long Om. Thank you so much for sharing space today. Thank you for rolling with me in these unusual circumstances. Monday, I'll have a solid internet connection. I think. Have a beautiful weekend.